What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Clippers Latest, where we talk all things LA Clippers, quick, fast, and to the point. I'm your host with the most, Brandon Goggins, here back with another jam-packed episode for you guys today. I hope that everybody is doing extremely incredible on this nice day. I do want to give a quick shout out to the Las Vegas Aces, who just won the WNBA Finals. A'ja Wilson, I don't know where you have her all time, but I have her number one. I think that A'ja Wilson is quite literally the GOAT. And I feel like that's been proved, all but solidified in this finals appearance here. But yeah, I just wanted to give a quick, shout out to her. The Las Vegas Aces, they are a dynasty, dynasty declared. That's the vibe check for the day. But I hope that you guys are doing well as well. Maybe not as well as the Aces, perhaps, because I imagine that they're probably celebrating really hard. But, I hope that you're doing as good as you can, because sometimes all you can do is bring your best. You know what I mean? But without further ado, we're going to get straight into it because I don't want to waste too much time. So let's get straight into business here, starting with Kawhi. Look, the man said it himself. I've been Unk for a long time, since I was 16. And if you know Kawhi, that makes sense. Like, it tracks. It makes sense. Kawhi always been an old soul. He ain't never really been that guy that's, like, super active online. He barely even had social media until, like, a year or two ago. And even now, like, that account is called Kawhi's Closet, which basically just consists of his pregame fits from, the tunnel when they first walk in and enter the building. And I'm pretty sure he don't even run it. Shout out LaMelo Ball. If you know Ball, you know what that reference is. But, nah, for real, like, bro is just like, he's really cool off that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very curious to see what Kawhi does when he retires. Like, is it going to be some type of, Tim Duncan type of vibe where we don't really hear much from him? He just pops up every now and then everybody's like, oh, there's Kawhi. That's kind of how it is for Tim Duncan. Oh, shoot, it's Timmy D with dreads. Would you look at that? You know what I mean? I can see that. But, like, honestly, that fits him, to be honest, for the level of stardom that he's at. I feel like that's probably more peaceful that way. And it, like, just matches his energy overall. He's kind of always given that type of vibe. And then, like, speaking of energy, Ty Lue wants both Kawhi and James Harden to get some run with the second unit this year. And honestly, I love that idea. Y'all heard me talk yesterday about how I loved how strong the bench looked. And if you add one of those two out there with them, that's going to be a problem because everybody out there hooping, you know what I mean? It don't matter. Everybody knows how to play basketball. You know what I mean? Like I said yesterday, it wasn't a one-man show. Everybody was getting involved. Everybody was getting a touch on a possession. And Kawhi and James Harden are two of the best minds in the sport right now. So if you add that with the second unit, we can have two units that are just continuously cycling. Like, bro, we have a deep roster to be able to do what we want to do. And here's the funny part. If Kawhi runs with the second string, he's technically one of the younger guys out there. So he's the leader, but not the veteran. You know what I'm saying? I was going to call him Unk, but he's not really Unk. If he out there with 40-year-old Chris Paul, 38-year-old Nick Batum, 37-year-old Brook Lopez, and company. But even still, having him out there would give that unit another level of balance and another level of confidence, which I feel like is extremely important moving forward. Now, keeping things on the topic of Kawhi, Kawhi's three-point barrage yesterday was exactly what you want to see early this year. Like I said yesterday, he hit 5 threes, and they all came in the first half, yo. All in the first half. That means that he could have gone for even more had he played longer because he was just that hot. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Like, he could have kept going, for real. He even said after the game, it felt like practice out there. And you can tell. You know what I mean? Dude was in rhythm. He was comfortable. He was locked in. He looked like it was just something slight for him. I literally saw, I think it was James Harden pass it down the court. Kawhi just pulling up, like, it's on the right side. Right side wing. He just pull up in transition, turns around, transition three. Wet ball. Yeah, what you mean, man? What he say he gonna say anytime he scores? Wet ball, my boy. And that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. So you could just tell that he was super locked in with his 3-point shot. And we know that he's been training hard all offseason, and it wouldn't surprise me if one of his main focuses was expanding that range of his, because Kawhi's always been a deadly mid-range shooter. You know what I'm saying? Automatic from that area. I'm talking about Kobe, Mike, 2015 Sean Livingston, DeMar DeRozan in the play-in. Actually, I don't know if that's a comparison he was. But you get what I'm getting at here. You know what I mean? Mid-range demon. You feel me? But to see him dial in like that as a potential 3-point specialist, that's very encouraging. I would like to see more of that, Mr. Leonard, sir. If you would allow me to witness that, I would love that. His career high for threes in the game is 7, and after what we saw, I wouldn't bet it past him to break it at some point this season, because, bro, 5 threes in one half. What he play, like 17 minutes maybe? I don't know, man. Who's to say that he wouldn't have scored 5 more in the second half? You never know. And if that's something that he's going to incorporate more into his game, dog, I'm really not trying to oversell us here, but, like, dude, I don't think people are going to understand how unstoppable we can be. And it wasn't even just him. Chris Paul was catching fire out there too. 4 threes in the third quarter. Alone. Just 1 quarter. Bro, if we got 40-year-old Chris Paul out here hitting 4 threes in the quarter, we're golden. We're good, bro. You can chill out. We're good, bro. Not for real, though, but, like, everybody was, like, you could just tell everybody was feeling it at one point. Like, if the Clippers can keep up this type of shooting, you know what I'm saying, this type of energy spread throughout the whole lineup, I'm talking about first unit, second unit, and even a third unit, which we'll get to, we're talking about a team that could legitimately be undeniably one of the best two-way groups in the NBA, the whole league. I'm saying it. I don't want to jump the gun and say the best, because I don't want to, be overly cocky. But you can put us top 3 on my soul. Heard it here. But we're not gonna look too much into the future. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to do too much talking, without backing it up. Even though I feel like this game was something to, worth boasting about, worth being proud of. I don't want to look too far in the future and get ahead of myself. And I think that Jordan Miller would appreciate me, having that mindset, because this next one's small but powerful. Jordan Miller, he was asked about that third quarter stretch where the Clippers were just absolutely locking up and holding the Loon Lions to almost nothing, single digits. And his answer to that was, like, pretty simple. Honestly, I wasn't thinking. I was just in the present. And that might sound basic to you, but it's one of the best things that you can hear from a young player, because that's exactly the type of mentality that I feel like you need. Stay in the moment. Stay present. Don't be out here thinking about the last possession. Don't be out here overthinking and worrying about the next possession. Just focus on right now. You get what I'm saying? And personally, like, him saying that really hit home for me, because that's something that I've personally been telling myself, like, a lot as of recent. Just trying to stay in the present. Be focused on the now. Be locked in on the now. Because that's all you can control at the end of the day. It's just you and what you're doing now. I'm recording this video. I'm focused on it now. I ain't worried about me getting up for work at 7:30 in the morning tomorrow. I ain't worried about, I don't know, what I ate for breakfast yesterday. I don't think I ate breakfast yesterday. I'm worried about right now. I'm worried about y'all. Y'all with me. You know what I'm saying? So I just really think that that's powerful. And when you apply that type of mindset on the court, it really does show. And I feel like that was very evident. You know what I'm saying? That third quarter 42-8 run is the result of being present. You know what I'm saying? Staying locked in, playing free, and trusting your team. That's the kind of mentality that can carry you throughout the season. Because think about it, bro. They not worried about these are like the bench guys. Like, they got something to prove. It didn't seem like they were overly worried about, trying to show out and get a roster spot and, or solidify a roster spot They're not worried about being, what I'm saying, the underdog or whatever. Like, they just going out there playing basketball, locking up defense, doing what they supposed to do to try and help contribute to a win. And I love that, yo. And I think that having all of these vets on the team kind of help orchestrate that mindset. I'm sure that there have been locker room talks about this particular subject. And, I hope that the young guys are really taking it all in, because to be on a team with all of these guys, like, it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have so many incredible basketball minds in one locker room, and you're on that roster getting exposed to all of it. I mean, look at how Kawhi Leonard panned out. Had Timmy D, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Boris Diaw, all of those older guys, just kind of mentoring him and being there for him when he was a young guy. You know what I'm saying? And Kawhi was just a sponge, soaking it all in, implementing what he's being taught with his game that he already has. And boom, he wins a Finals MVP at 22 years old. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's going to automatically be the case for any of the guys on this team, because that's very, very rare and very impressive and not really talked about enough, in my opinion. But neither here nor there. These guys, you never know who could be the next flower to bloom, So that could be Jordan Miller. That could be Trenton Flowers. That could be Jason Preston. You know what I'm saying? That could be any of these guys. But the point is, I'm saying, trusting your team and just like being in the present, focusing on what you can do to help contribute to this team's success. That's all that matters right now. And I love that Miller and the other young guys have that mindset, because, like I said, it was very evident. And I think that it's something that could, whether it's inadvertent or not, earn them more minutes. And, we could see more rotations as the season progresses. I would really not mind that at all. But I am going to focus on the future just ever so slightly right now. But partly because I need to. Like, it's very it's very important. We move on to Sunday. The Clippers take on the Denver Nuggets. And let me just say, this is a different level of competition than what we saw against the Loon Lions. Just slightly. We're talking about not the defending. He is the defending MVP. No, he's not. Shai just won the MVP. I'm getting my seasons mixed up, y'all. I'm sorry. But I think that he's still the best player in the world. Nikola Jokic. Listen. I don't know if Denver's going to roll out their full starting lineup. You never know if they could or not. We're contenders. They're contenders, so they could. But if they do, we're probably going to be looking at a starting lineup consisting of Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, new pickup Cam Johnson, who I actually think is a perfect fit for them, along with Aaron Gordon and, of course, Nikola Jokic. And that's a tall, long-ass lineup. And they use that size really well. They know how to. Personally, I think that we do match up pretty decently with them. But this is also going to be a test of our defense more than anything, because the thing about Denver is they basically got two floor generals. One on the perimeter in Murray, 6'3" point guard, and then one in the post in Jokic, who play everywhere, a 7-foot point center. Yo, you have playmakers at two different levels like that, it's really tough to game plan around it. And I'm not saying that it's impossible to, I'm just saying that it is a little bit tough. So, with that being said, we have to be disciplined, cutting off the passing lanes, rotating early, limiting the easy looks that they can create for other guys, because they really thrive when the rest of the team is thriving, because that's just really what gets them going. So we need to try and subside that as much as we can, limit that as much as we possibly can. And I personally want to see that same defensive energy that we brought in the third quarter of last game, because that's what it's going to take every game to compete with teams at this level. And even though it's just a preseason, this is a great opportunity to measure ourselves against a contender, because we need to see where we stand, what needs work, and how we respond when the competition is real. I think that last game was a good warm-up. We got 20 guys in rotation get their feet wet. I don't know how many guys plan on playing tomorrow. I don't expect Bogey to play, because I saw that there was something with his lower back. I don't want him to force anything. It's preseason. Rest all you need to. We know that you still recover. I don't want none of that. But I do want to get pretty much everybody that can to get some reps, depending on what their lineup is looking like. It's exhibition at the end of the day, but it's a it's a look for what works, what doesn't, and I think that we just need to. I think it would be a good idea to see how we match up against the Nuggets overall. But that is going to do it for this episode. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. What are your expectations going into this game against the Nuggets? Do you think they're going to have all their guys? Do you think we're going to have all of ours? What do you think is going to be the case? What do you think about Jordan Miller's mindset, about him and the other young guys staying present, leading to that 42-8 incredible run in the third quarter? How do you feel about Kawhi expanding his three-point shot? I'm never going to be opposed to you expanding your game. I think that it's really incredible that he is doing so. And then also, what do you think about him labeling himself as Unk and, saying that he's been Unk for quite a while now? I'm sure the other guys on the team probably feel this. Well, the younger guys, of course, feel the same way. But, I don't know. I heard that Unk isn't just about the age, but it's also about the mindset as well. I feel like Kawhi has adopted that mindset all the more. So, like I said, that's going to do it for this one, guys. As always, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed. And, of course, consider subscribing if you're new here. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Y'all be easy. Y'all stay sleazy. And as always, keep it P. Y'all take it easy. Peace.